Hi guys. Okay, so we're gonna try this. This is the first tutorial video for one of my pieces. We're gonna do Sea of Stars, Serenade of Respite Day. Um, so that's Serenade of Respite Day from Sea of Stars, the game. Okay, never done one of these before, so it's gonna be a learning process for me. Kind of figure out how we best want to tackle this, but I figure I can show you the tabs on the screen, and then I have a couple angles here. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go measure by measure, section by section. So this is really not written right. That should be that's a pickup. So you count 1, 2, and then play on 3 because we're in 3/4 time. So 1, 2, play. It's a pickup measure. So 1, 2. That's how you do that. Now, first thing I want you to notice is how I write this out. Even if you can't read standard notation, you can definitely see how they're separated here, and that's important because the notes that are pointing up are going to be your melody notes, and the ones that are pointing down are going to be your bass or your accompaniment notes. So what you want to try and do is you want to try and bring out the melodic notes as much as possible, separate them from the back. So and you'll notice the first thing we hit is a bar. So if you're not familiar with bar chords, it's when you take one finger and you put them all down on the string. Then this is technically a half bar, and that means the bar is not going to go fully across. It's going to go across a couple strings. And in this case, we're kind of going down to the 4th string to get the A major chord. And the reason I do this is because the accompaniment rises in the bass, like, and you want to be able to hold that C sharp as long as possible. And make sure you accent that last one because even though the tail is pointed down, it's also pointed up. So that's the beginning of the phrase again. So again, remember we're gonna 1, 2. That's kind of the feel. It kind of just bounces along. Now it changes up a little bit here. Kind of opens up a little bit. So let's go to the measure before it. Okay. So yeah, when it comes in the second time, it's just the beginning. It's just like the same as before. And it opens up here. You want to kind of slow down the arpeggio there. And that goes into an E major chord. And I didn't do a full chord because you could if you wanted to. If you wanted to add more notes, you could add the E or even the B. Do whatever you want, really. I considered doing a strum here, but I kept hitting this high E, and you want to keep that E out of there. You can probably, but just to make it easier. So again. And you want that to be kind of like the loudest in that group of 4 measures, because the phrase kind of goes up and then down like a hill almost. This all leads up, and then you're on the hill, and then back down. If that makes sense. Okay, and so the next thing. So yeah, I don't know if I should do this. But so that first section, that's kind of like just basically the intro. The intro. Okay, so we got that much down. Now it's going to change up a little bit here, and I want you to make sure you're aware of this. So we hit that E. Whoop. And for this bar, you're going to bar with your index finger on 2. And I like to use my middle finger here to bar the 4. You have to think about these two measures together, measure 10 and measure 11. They're kind of because the way it's written, it's going to slide into measure 11 from measure 10. So you bar with the 2, middle on 4, and that leaves these fingers open here at the top to hit the 4 or 5. And you got a nice solid, if you try to do it with like, I don't know, you run out of fingers. So yeah, so a lot of the 2 bars you're gonna find I use the middle finger for this piece. So from the E. And right here you're gonna want to basically, if you watch my hand here, you're just gonna kind of slide up like that. And that way you're right in position for whoop. So you're right in position already for that. And then you can let go. So if you see how that goes. So we're going to bar on 2, middles on 4, slide up, just into a regular D chord, into a bar of an A. So you might want to practice that a few times. I'm trying to do it that slow. It's a little bit difficult to hold those bars down, but and let's see what we've got here. Yeah, so make sure it's just a regular pull up into a 4, 3, 2, 4. Make sure when you, it's not just lifting off your finger. You want to kind of pull your finger out a little bit because you're doing a little bit of a pluck almost with your left hand. And that leads you right into the section here, this B. You see how the measures kind of go in pairs sometimes. The end of one measure might be written in a certain way to help you get into the next measure. So you've got that bar, half bar. And then to the suspension. Ooh, that's takes a lot out of your forearm just holding these bar chords. So you're definitely going to want to exercise your left hand a little bit. Make sure you're stretching. Okay, so let's just continue on though. Well, let's look at that. So okay, so for that section, we already did the first section. The second section, remember we're going to bar. Okay, so we're in the ending of that section now. And you're ending here in a bit of a suspension. That gets resolved there. So it's suspend, resolve. And I just play this with my ring finger. Okay. All right, so now we're in the second section here. So let's see what we're doing. Okay, we're back. I had to, I stopped it just to make sure it was recording okay, and then when I came back, I thought I was recording, and I forgot to hit record on the. It's all right. I didn't get very far. Luckily, I was just rambling a little bit. Okay, so we were at the end of 16, the suspension, and again, we're gonna play that just by lifting up the ring finger and plucking the first part of that triplet and just hammering with your finger. And you pluck, you hammer, and then you just kind of pull your finger out instead of up, pull it out. So you're plucking it again almost with your ring finger. And it gives you kind of a stronger sound to it. And it resolves into that E. Alright, so the next section. It's a little, you have to get kind of the feel for it a little bit. It's in 3, you're going to feel it in 3. Yeah, it helps so I play the notes. So the bass is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the top has got this staggered, this dotted quarter to a tied eighth note kind of stagger. So it's if you think of them separately, it's going to confuse you. So don't think of them as like separately. Think of them as one's playing into the other. And what I mean by that is think of it as bum, 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 bum. So think of like the second part of the melody as part of the bass line, rather than thinking. It's hard to get that feel while you're playing. So if you think of them together, even though they're separate even though they're written out separately, it can be easier to play it. So I'll play it slow. We're starting at measure 18 here. If you can, so I'm pointing to it, but we're starting here. So you see how that boom, bum, ba, bum, boom, ba, bum. And then it moves into the bar. And maybe we should bar that? I don't know. If that measure 20 I bar it. But so you see how that sound goes? So it goes into an A. So you want to, the important notes of those are going to be the melody notes. So make sure you're bringing those out. The second note, the second bass note, is not that important. It's more the beat is bum, 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 bum. So you're accenting the first and the third on the bass, and then you make sure you're bringing out the melody notes as well. Okay? And up there you got a little bit of a shift. So measure 20 to 21, be aware of that. You're gonna jump up. That part can be a little tricky, so you may want to practice doing that jump. Into another bar here. All right, we're measure 22 here. So with these bars, these are a little bit tricky because you see how I have the bar halfway through the measure and then I don't. It's because you're going to bar at the beginning. And again, remember we're doing these 2 bars. We're barring with our index and we're playing the 4 with our middle finger. That leaves these fingers free to get these other 4s here. So you're going to right there at the right after you play the second 4, you lift up with your hand, so you can get that B in there, and then you bring it back down for the next measure. So again, measure 22. You've got your index finger down. You're barring it. You've got your middle finger on the 4 for that, and you're playing the next note with your ring finger, and you're lifting up with your hand. You're lifting the off, so you get the B, and then you bring the 4 down. So it's like a rocking motion, and then you bring it back down for the next measure. You see how that goes? Okay. And then you're going to bring your hand up. That's kind of an important chord, so I'm really going to lean into that one. Let's see, what's the best way to play that? Probably best to play it with your pinky and your ring finger on the 2s and your index on 1, because that leaves your middle finger then able to play the 2 here. Then you can just bring your pinky down. So a little bit of a crawling. You're crawling with your fingertips a little bit there. So what I'll do is once I finish this, I'll write in my fingerings on the little parts like that, so you can follow whatever I'm telling you here in the video. I'll mark those fingerings as well. Probably should have done that before, but it is what it is. All right. So you kind of crawl with your fingers, and you lift up there. So that gives your 25 is a little. I gave you a little break there. Let's see that rest. You pull off, reset, and then we're into it. 26, 27, 28, and 28. Is this the same deal? Yeah, same deal. So pretty much anytime you see a 4 down in the bass, you're gonna play it with your middle finger. So if we do 27, where are we here? Yeah, I'm trying to hold my finger out, but really it's best just to have your hand just kind of hammer down with that. Just put your fingers down, flatten it. That's 28. So 27 and 28. Just bring your hand down. 29. And then 30. It's just basically a D chord. Now, I'm sorry I did this to you, but you can do this. I know you can. That sounds kind of ominous when I say that, but this 32 is, you may not be used to it. You're going to be barring with your pinky. You're barring 2 places. So you're barring with your index, and you're half barring with a pinky. And so 2's, your index is going to be down on 2, and on 5, and you're going to use your pinky to hit those 2 5s together. See what I'm doing there? And then I lift up for the 2. It's hard to hold this bar for too long. Then you just bring it down for 33. So that's that section. That's a whole another section done. We're gonna move on to something kind of completely different. The nice thing about this piece is Each part of it is in kind of a section where you can really kind of practice it, and then take a break, you know, give your hand a rest, because that hurts. There's a lot of borrowing in that previous section, so I understand if your hand's a little tired. But take a break, come back, and then got some whole new idea. So you don't have to, you know, it's good to take a break because you can come back and you know you're not going to get confused, because this is a whole different feel in this section. So let's just continue on. Key change. Make sure you're aware of that. Not that I don't know how many of you are actually looking at the standard notation anyway. But we're going into F here, even though it's a little bit odd because we have a C sharp, but it's written in F minor, but it's showing in A major. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So it kind of rocks back and forth between that idea. So it's like an A major chord and a B flat. Well, B flat something. All right, so it's still in 3. So you're gonna hold that chord and use you're gonna that inner sound you're gonna get with your middle finger, your thumb, your thumb and your index finger on your right hand are gonna. Now, if you'll notice, let's go back to 34 here, which is this measure here. You'll notice on my right hand, I'm playing that mostly with the upper part. I'm playing the bass with my thumb, and the upper part with my 2 fingers here, kind of together. I'm going to show you, because I switch it here because it gives you there's a bit of a change here you got to be aware of. So I switch, instead of doing it with these fingers, I do it with my index and middle finger there. Because right there you're going to have to jump up to a half bar on 3. And I don't want to get my hand all like you want to kind of prepare for it. And you're going to come up and bar it. So you're holding a half bar with your index on 3, and the 6 with your pinky, and then you're just walking it down with your fingers, and then right back into that idea. So that takes a little practice, but it's just basically walking. Now I could have been. I was debating on how mean to get here on 48 and 49. You wouldn't think that these measures would be like measures I would really be like thinking about a lot, but the way this goes in the original is like you've got these. You've got those going up, but then it had this middle voice going down, and I wanted to put it in so badly, but it was just I was going to be terrible. It was going to be so mean to you guys. So I left it out. And this is it's just octaves. You just have to get used to just sliding it up like that. And at the top, you just use your pinky and just pluck these harmonics. Nothing too difficult. it's just a little bit, probably something you're not necessarily used to. So that might feel a little weird. But from there, we're going into measure 50. So it's, again, a new thing, totally different idea. So just to make sure I don't ruin anything, I'm going to stop and come back here. Okay. Now, I think it's recording all this okay. We'll see. When I cry after I completed all and realized I didn't have this down or I was muted or something. Anyway, all right, so we're at measure 50. We're getting into kind of the final ideas of the piece. So it's really just basically this one idea that goes up an octave, and then does a little diddle thing in the middle, and this is just basically a recapitulation of the beginning, but I just brought it up an octave and changed it around a little bit to make it more interesting. And then it kind of finishes. So we're kind of in the home stretch here. So if you've followed along so far, great job. Stick with me a little bit further, and we'll have this done, and you can go back and kind of figure out what you want to do. All right. So that's the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's got this little. All right. Anyway, so we'll go slow. Just go slow because I had to do it this way because bringing it up an octave really made the fingerings really just weird, and it was going to be. I do bring it up the second part of it, but I wanted to have the first part at least stay close to the original, and in order to do that, I had to keep it low, and you got to kind of build up to it. You got to shoot to it, so you don't want to blow everything at the beginning. So anyway. Notice I'm not borrowing much here. So it's really up to you what fingers you feel like using, whatever's easiest for you, because you got to do a little bit of a shift there. And here you can, just depending on if you want to use your pinky for the 4 to open up this finger for the 16th note. You can even do it like this, but that's a little bit harder on your hand. So I would recommend doing it the first 4 with your ring and the second 4 with your pinky. And it leaves your hand ready for the next measure for 53 to. So. And really lean into that. So you're going to give it a nice pluck. Hammer that. Some part can get a little weird. Where are we here? 56. Some people have a hard time when you're doing a hammer on and you're pulling off into another pluck note below it. It can feel a little bit strange. What am I doing? I'm playing it wrong. Sorry about that. So what you could do. Just do it that way. So you're going to use your ring. Basically, you're basically making an A chord with your left hand, but you're using your pinky you're not playing it all at once. See what I'm saying there? So have your hand as if you're going to play an A chord. Play that with your pinky, and then just bring it off. And you've got the suspend want to slide. So and you're going to bar that with your index. And right back into it. Okay, and those 3 measures are just the same thing we played at the beginning. So if you have the beginning down, you know what we did with all those. And you get another a little bit of a tough section. So play through it slowly. It's not tough, but it's a little weird. So we're at measure 60 there, and you're going to. Wait, what are you going to do? Let me see this here. Yeah. So your this part of your hand is already on 4. So use that as a guide when you shift, because your pinky and your ring finger are already on 4, and that's where you're going to be shifting the top part of your hand to. So use that as a guide when you shift. See what I mean there? So the index just takes the place of them, and your ring finger pops up for the 6. See what I did there? And then you just shift your index finger down for the 2. Okay, so it takes a little bit of work, but I don't think it's not that hard. It just takes some practice. And then bar it. Use your pinky. And so the idea between 65 and 66, you'll notice this is kind of like the end of the 64, and it's like a linking idea, and it's staggered like that because it kind of brings you into the excuse me. How do I want to word this? Okay, let's just don't worry about it. I was just kind of telling you how I was doing it as far as arranging. I was linking the ideas with this offbeat thing. And so you're going to notice this is the same idea, it's just brought up an octave. And I play around with the chords a little bit. So you're not thinking, you don't have this constant boom, 1, 2, 3 in the bass anymore. You have a kind of, you're gonna kind of have different things going with the chords to fill things up, to make it interesting. So starting at 66, and then let's see. Yeah, so it's a slide up from the 7 to the 9. So, and then you're gonna slide back down for the 4, and you're gonna bar it. So, and then use your ring finger to do the little pull off. Then remember we're holding with our index and we're plucking and pulling off. So to get those middle notes, and then this stuff is already ready for the next measure. Remember, we're always thinking in pairs, measure pairs. Don't think of one measure and the next measure. Think of how one measure leads into the next measure. Okay, so we're already the 7 here leads into the 6. Okay, so let's try that again. So let's start from the beginning of it. So we're starting at measure 66 here, which is the beginning of the idea, the phrase. shoot, I should play that. I almost cursed. All right, let's try it again. I need to bring it down. And then you're ready for the measure 69, which brings the 6 up. Okay, so I'll put in the fingerings there because that can be a little bit tricky. You want to bring the index up for the 6 because that leaves your pinky ready for the 9 and the 7. And the 7 with the index. Don't just think you can get here because you're gonna run out of fingers. So you want to bring the whole hand, shift the whole hand up. And then that leaves, from measure 69 into 70, that leaves these fingers ready for the 5 and the 6. And I put a vibrato there because I really want you to lean into it. I love those kind of, these, on a guitar sounds so nice. It's a 1/6, an interval of a 1/6. I don't know if you saw me counting that. I'm like, is that a 1/6? I think it is. I always thought 6/6 sound really nice on a guitar. So I really want you to, after the, I mean, I made it all open for you. You can really lean into it with the, when you got the low bass note, and the next note is just, it's another open string. So really just, and just, helps if I play the right notes. So 12 into 14. You can really do something really, just get into it. The whole thing is kind of leading this way. So I wonder if I can write that in as directions too. Though you played the little lower. You played the idea lower, and now you're playing it again higher. So it's all kind of leading up. And this is kind of the climax of this particular section. So you really want to. So this is the end of measure 70. And we're going into 71, and you're just going to, from here, you're going to slide down so your pinky hits the 12, and that should be barred. I don't know why I didn't have that written barred. Maybe I should, I wonder if I can put it in right now. Sorry about that. Do a half bar. So, and it's really not. You're up in the high part of the neck, but it's not really too difficult as far as what you're playing up here. So you got your bar here on the 9, and you've got your pinky on 12. So and I play it with the thumb again. Bring the index back, and then this finger's already ready for the. You just bring it. So that's pretty much the way you're going to do. So we barred them, and use your pinky to, if you can, pull out. It's a little bit hard because the strings get a little floppy up here. So pulling off like that could be difficult, but just do your best. Which leads into bar on 6. So pinky and ring are on the 9 here, bars on 6, and you're going to play the 7 with your index, or excuse me, with your middle. If you can hold it, great. It's hard to hold, so if you pull off a little bit, it's not a big deal because you're you're going into a recapitulation on the next measure anyway. So it's like, if you can hold the note, great. If you can't, you can pull off there. And remember, we're doing any 4s we're seeing on the low strings, we're doing with our ring finger because we want to always have our pinky free. So a lot of these 4s do this little arpeggio there. All right, so that's that section. And we're kind of back. You see, we've kind of fallen back down. We went to the climax, the top of the hill. We're kind of coming back down musically. So it's just kind of we've already played all this before. Even this part, remember the shift. And then right there, just a D chord. Nothing weird there. But pay attention to this 3 here, where your middle fingers. I guess I don't talk about my fingers very much. I'm like, which finger is this again? Your middle finger's on the 3, because that's going to be your pivot point for 78 to 79. Because you got your pinky on 5, your middle comes into 3, and everything pivots for the bar on 79. You see how that works? So you start on the D, you lock in with your 5, 3, and then everything falls into place for the next chord. And they just slide up. So, and that's really, right there is kind of like the finishing up of that idea. So it's good to kind of practice that ending. You can see how if you lock in the positions, where you pivot and all that, you can lock everything in, everything kind of falls into place. So it's just a matter of being confident when you play that part. And so this is kind of the outro, really. He plays around a little bit with the idea that we heard, but it's a different way of doing it. It's kind of a, let's see, hold on. So, it's just a matter of counting. So I'm just trying to think of the best way to play it with your fingers. Because you've got that weird little E. That's probably the best way. All right, so don't do it this way. You start it with the E is going to be with your middle, and the A is going to be with your ring. Just like if you're playing an A minor chord, and then just move your middle down for the E, and then play that with your pinky, and that leaves your fingers, leaves you enough fingers. A little bit different here. So you see how when you play that part, the hand, now we turn directions. The first part, we went this way to the left when we went down for 83, and then we played it again and we went up. So we're pointed this way. I don't know if that makes any sense. All right, let me try it again. I'll do it a little bit slower. Catch it? So hands kind of pointing that direction, and then the second time you play it, your hands pointing that direction. Okay. Hey, look, I didn't write it. It's a weird little thing in the middle of it. I don't know. He needed to get into the next idea, and he was like, I don't know, I'll just do something. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this here is really just the beginning of the piece. except it's brought up an octave. And what I mean is, if I can find it again. Before we were down here, but now we're up. So the bass line's a little bit different. Before it was kind of constant. This is gonna be a bit different. So let's see, what's the best way to do this? I should have written the fingerings in before I did this video. I guess we could figure out together. Yeah, okay. So slide up. I like to slide up on my index. Actually, probably not the best way to do it. Let's see. Yeah, slide up on your index from 3 to 5, and then it leaves these fingers ready. And that's just an A major chord. Probably played it 1,000 times before. We did it before when we were doing the vibrato one. Remember though, even though all of them are now, because they're all in the melody, or they're all in the upper voice, but remember which notes are important. First and the third usually. And then it's the 7-5-7-0. And you're just going to slide up with your pinky. You're already kind of ready to do it anyway. And then you're going to bring your pinky for the 12 and just bring it all down. Gives you that nice suspension there. So again, you're what I'm doing here. I'm doing the A chord. I've got my middle, my index, and my ring. And then I'm leaving my middle, or I'm leaving my index here, and I'm just bringing my middle and my ring up for the 7-5-7. So I don't move my index. That leaves my pinky free to hit the 9 and the slide. And I just follow my hand up for the 9 for this chord. So it's almost like a little inchworm or something. I don't know how else to describe it. I changed it up here just because I wanted to do something, I don't know, different. But it also makes things a little bit easier. When you play it again, now you're just doing a flat bar. See how it changed? Instead of this, we've changed the color of the chord a little bit. And then you can just slide up again for the 9, the half bar on the 9. Just slide. And this is a really rock solid position, so you should really be able to pull off easily. Okay, does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So I changed it up a little bit, but I did it to not only make it different, to make it easier for you to play at, because we're kind of coming to the end. We want to start strong and finish strong with anything we play, and so I gave you guys a break rather than sticking super close to the original here. This is really these kind of chords and this kind of voicing could really sing on the guitar if you really lean into it. strings. And you can really... So you have a lot of opportunity. I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of really blow up here at the end. And then if you look, this is actually, I was really nice to you because I figure your hand's probably tired by now. You don't want to learn something brand new. So really the ending part is really just a restatement of, if you see this 2 2 2 4 2 4 5 5 5 4 4 for measure 98 99, you see how familiar those look? Because they're the same notes. Yeah, see? Same stuff. So we just end on the second half of this, and we're done with the piece. So isn't that nice? So, where are we here? Yeah. Can I fit it all in one? No, I can't. Mostly. So yeah. So again, we're gonna bar. Well, let me just. Yeah. Okay. So we're at the big part, the big climax here. And then we're gonna just bar. Remember our middle finger is gonna be hitting these fours. We slide up. Shoot, I'm gonna. I'll leave it in because you have to say I'm gonna cut that out. You know what? You can see when I flub up too. Yeah. So let's take it slow here because I'm excited because I'm finally almost done. I'm sweating here. So index, middle on the 4. I'll get that eventually. Bring up with your ring and pinky, just like we've done before, and you slide up. And then just pull off for the 4, back into the D, and then into the bar and the A. And pull off, remember we're pulling out. And we're already in position here for the B. Suspension, and then just pull it off, and just a little, just touch it with your ring. And that's it. And you end on this little A. And you can slow it down. Just the original, I think, just goes straight, just kind of powers through, and just the But if you wanna, yeah, however you wanna do it. But you made it. You made it through Serenade of Respite Day. I think what I'll have to do is I'm gonna have to see how. Again, this is my first time trying to teach one of these, and so we'll see how it turned out. I'll try to put timestamps in the description so you can kind of bounce around to the different sections to make it easier, because it's going to be a fairly long episode, I think. I don't know how long I rambled with this one, but it's going to be probably an hour at least 45 minutes. So yeah, hopefully I can do more of these. I do enjoy kind of going through and saying how, teaching how I would do. I'm going to write in the fingerings and everything I used that I described while I was playing. Hopefully I'll remember them. And yeah, so hopefully it helps. Be well. Happy strumming. Bye! I don't know why I did that.